Adventures, thank you for joining us. I'm Joy.
And I'm Laura.
And this is The Witches of Letters, a supernatural rewatch podcast.
Buckle up as we dive into Season 5, Episode 21, 2 minutes to midnight. Joy, guess what?
What?
I did a thing, finally. Are you proud of me?
What did you do?
I put our podcast on YouTube. Yay!
Woo! I'm
I've
really
only
proud.
been saying about doing it for like a year.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. I don't know that it's going to really impact the listeners because they're already listening to us.
Yeah, but they might want to. It's not video, it's just audio.
Yeah, you
still.
need to manage expectations.
Yeah, there's no difference. So if you listen on Spotify already,
if we were releasing
carry
video,
on
then they're like, there would be a point to telling them. I feel like they'd be like, "Oh yay, video! We've been asking for that for ages." Sorry, I guess. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but I did a thing, so I wanted to tell them.
Yeah, good job, Laura. Well done. Everybody's like, woo.
Yeah, this episode was really good. What did you think?
It's so good. My preamble says, so Sarah Gamble wrote this episode, and wow, this is easily one of the best episodes of Supernatural, period. Sarah is the queen.
That's good.
There are so many fantastic moments. Oh, Death, sung by Jen Titus, is such a masterful thing. Julian Richings is such a Silver Age level of actor. He's completely believable as Death with basically no special effects in terms of himself. Because like his voice, his things that are going on with him. And I know we haven't had a lot of special effects on the Horsemen, and it has relied on their performances. But it's just, here's the thing. Julian is playing the Death, right? Yeah. And he's playing such an otherworldly, powerful character, and we believe him completely. Like nothing is being done except for his performance, and his performance is actually like really subtle when you think about it. I would put him toe to toe with like Bela Lugosi, because Bela Lugosi was capable of the same thing. It's why we love him so much as Dracula. Like his performance was subtle. He fully embodied the character. You did not need fancy lighting tricks or computer stuff or anything. Everything relied on his eyes, his voice, his mannerisms, what he's doing, what he's emoting. And I think it's very rare now when we have CGI, when we have special effects, to find an actor who is capable of, I'm not saying it's like they don't do it. There are lots of great actors, but for a part like that, like, it would be so normal for there to be so many special effects. But with Julian, I feel that you don't need them.
No. Yeah, no, it was really good. That whole scene at the end in the restaurant was just amazing.
I love it so much. I love it so much. And now you can understand the death and pizza memes. Because like there's so many things in Supernatural fan culture where it's just like death has 5 letters. And then you know what else has 5 letters? Pizza. And on any old like Reddit threads, or I guess to be fair, current ones, or like Tumblr in particular, if someone's like, what are 5-letter words? A Supernatural fan will always come in and be like, death and pizza. If there's a conversation about death, a Supernatural fan will be like, pizza. If there's a conversation about pizza, a Supernatural fan will be like, look, death. And underneath, you'll just always have people commenting, and here we are again. Or inevitably, we have returned to this point in the conversation.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, I love it so much. I feel like there's nothing quite like the combination of Jen Titus's voice in that opening sequence.
Yeah,
and
that
Julian
was
really
really
good. Richings' acting.
And the slow motion.
The slow motion, like the direction, the cinematography, everything is so perfect. It's honestly so well done. Like everything comes together so beautifully. And I know we talk about Supernatural being a piece of cinema often, but this is really another great example of Supernatural truly being a golden piece of cinema.
Yeah.
It is absolutely gorgeous. I swear to God, like I've seen this so many times, and this scene will still give me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Every time I hear the Oh Death song, and you see him get out of the white long like Cadillac, and he's slowly walking, and that rude asshole bumps into him, and he just brushes his shoulder off, and the man drops dead. It's sick. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And I'm talking about it now. I legitimately have goosebumps on my arm. It's just one of the best pieces of cinema out there. I love it so much. And it's just him. It's just him doing his thing. It's her doing her thing as an amazing vocalist. And the
Yeah.
two things combined, we are so lucky. We are blessed. Our timeline is blessed.
I know now why, because obviously I haven't seen it until this week, and I now know why you were so excited about that scene happening.
Yeah, I was basically shrieking
Like,
at
when's
her
Death's
every
entrance?
week. Yeah. When
Yeah.
is it? Where is it?
I did find
Yeah.
a fun fact that Julian Richings played Death in at least 2 other roles besides the Supernatural.
Yeah,
So
he's played Death.
before.
He's played Death a few times, and he's
Yeah.
fucking incredible. And
I
also
found-
sometimes there'll be little Easter egg performances in horror shows. So like recently, he was in Something Really Bad Is Going to Happen, the Netflix series, which is actually phenomenal, by
I
the
watched
way.
that, yeah.
And he's in that, and he's not in it for very long at all. But again, he is phenomenal. He is perfect. I really recommend if you know that you like him, but you haven't looked at his what do you call it? Like his I didn't want to just say filmography. That's the word. I was gonna be like, don't just say IMDb page. That's not what I was trying to say. His whole filmography.
Yeah.
Because he's been in so many things and he's so good at disappearing into things, and sometimes he is wearing like special things. Like he's doing character acting stuff,
Yeah.
so you don't always know that it's him unless you go diving. But I do think it's worth it. If you're a fan of his, I would really recommend like checking stuff out. And because I'm a nerd and I'm already following his social media because I'm such a big fan, he'd been posting about Something Really Bad Is Going to Happen before I'd seen any of the press. And I'd forgotten all about this until I was literally watching this series obsessively with Nick because we both love horror. And he was there. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what he was posting
I missed
about.
it because obviously I hadn't seen him yet either, so I wouldn't have recognised him. But who was he in
that? He's the ice cream man. But he's like, oh, but it's not ice cream. It's frozen custard.
Oh.
And it's right before all of the death and dying stuff. Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look because I
super
definitely didn't recognise it. Yeah, he was creepy in that. That character was creepy.
He's amazing.
But yeah, the other people, the other films I found.
The other people, never mind. Only Julian matters.
The other films that I found that he'd been in where he played Death was a Hallmark film called Ms. Scrooge from 1997.
You have to go find that and watch it immediately.
A short film called Dave vs. Death from 2011. And he also played a similar role, this is from IMDb, in Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief from 2010. Yes. And he was the ferryman to the underworld.
He was Chiron, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, he was really, really good in that as well. He's good in everything, honestly. He can do no wrong. I haven't seen everything because I don't like the Saw franchise, and he's in the Saw franchise. But everything else,
I think I've seen most of those. Yeah.
Oh, what?
But I wouldn't have recognised him in anything because I hadn't watched this episode yet.
Yeah.
So now I need to go back and watch all the things.
Exactly, because now you have the proper supernatural context, which is the only context, as we all know. One of my friends listened to our podcast. He voice noted me, I think. I can't remember if he messaged me. He voice noted. He was like, wow, you fangirl hard. Because his perspective of me has been me doing my feminist content before. So I'm like very together. I'm like very like, I feel like on topic, usually not unhinged at all. I'm just like buttoned up. It was like, wow. Wow. I just said thank you for listening. You're not wrong. So my only other thing for the preamble is the title 2 Minutes to Midnight. So it's kind of, we have a little bit of a doomsday clock reference firstly, and then also the Iron Maiden song, which came out in 1984, right?
A rock reference.
A rock reference. We have to have a rock reference. So I highlighted some lyrics that I thought made it kind of relevant to this episode, and they are kill for gain or shoot to maim, but we don't need a reason. The golden goose is loose and never out of season. Blackened pride still burns inside this shell of bloody treason. Here's my gun for a barrel of fun for the love of living death. The killer's breed or the demon's seed, the glamour, the fortune, the pain. Go to war, blood is freedom's stain. Don't you pray for my soul anymore. 2 minutes to midnight. The hands that threaten doom. 2 minutes to midnight.
Ah, cool. Yeah, that's good.
It
That
goes so well.
Yeah.
Like, I love the way that they choose things. And I found an article on Collider called "One of Supernatural's Greatest Strengths Also Made the Show Iconic," and this was written by Shayna Weatherhead. Weatherhead. It's a funky name. I love it. And she says, beyond just adding to the general rock and roll vibe, some of the best musical moments in Supernatural help to reflect the themes of certain episodes. For example, when a semi-driving demon mows down Sam Dean and their dad in the season 1 finale, Creedence Clearwater Revival's Bad Moon Rising plays ominously over the scene, signifying all the horrors yet to come for the 3 Winchesters. Similarly, in season 2, after Sam and Dean disguise themselves in SWAT gear to escape a shapeshifter bank job gone horribly awry, Styx's Renegade solemnly sings out about a wanted man running from the long arm of the law. It's also established that Bon Jovi rocks on occasion in the season 3 finale before Dean is torn to shreds by hellhounds, and the brothers sing Wanted, Dead or Alive as Dean contemplates his mortality through the lens of a lonely rocker. It is really good.
I always think of this when I think of Supernatural now when I hear that song.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All I think about is Dean.
Yeah.
So no different from anything else, really.
I was going to say, you always think of Dean.
Yeah, it's true. She goes on to say, ultimately, after 15 seasons of mythology and melodrama, Supernatural is mainly remembered for its unparalleled brotherly bond and iconic music cues. As we watch Sam and Dean battle literal and emotional demons on their never-ending quest to avenge their mom and save each other from eternal damnation, any viewer knows that the show wouldn't have been the same without the inclusion of countless classic rock songs. The soundtrack of the Winchesters' lives turned out to be just as integral as the monsters they hunted and made the family business all the more rock and roll.
Yeah. I love the music about, like, with Supernatural, and I love classic rock, so it's like, yeah, I just love it.
Me too.
It makes it feel like cozy and nostalgic just from watching.
No, it really does. Like, Kripke is a genius because this was all his plan all along, and there's a quote from him where he said he wasn't going to listen to any anemic pop on this show. He was like, no, because he's such a classic rocker. So, like, all of this stuff that Dean talks about, like all the great bands that he mentions in episode 1, that was Kripke being like, this is what we're going to have in the show.
Yeah.
And then as the show goes on, they really do like get basically like they get all of these bands in the show. It's so awesome, and I love him for that. And I think that that is perfect for this episode because it's a really good example of them tying rock and roll iconography, legend, like all this stuff that's deep in the soul of the fans. Because I feel like all of the fans who love Supernatural, maybe there are a couple of exceptions, but I feel like generally people are into rock. Like, a person who is going to enjoy Supernatural is also going to be a rock and classic rock fan. Those two things are just so intertwined. So I feel like what he does is genius because in basically using songs as touchstones, we're getting so much more out of the episodes than we would if it was just like a cool soundtrack thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so in the mailbag, there's one thing that I wanted to say that's like adjacent to the mailbag instead of in the mailbag proper, and then everything else is in the mailbag proper, guys. But it's because Beck and I had such an interesting conversation about the previous episode. So I'm going to start off with a few notes from listeners on the previous episode that I thought were like amazing. And this is very short and sweet. And then I'm going to move into what you guys said about this episode, because as Laura pointed out to me before, it would be really helpful if people were actually talking to us about the episode that we are in fact on. So I did that this week.
When you say previous episode, do you mean the one that just came out when we've recorded this, or the actual last episode before this one?
The actual last episode before this one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So in the last episode was when I had a meltdown about Dean being an alcoholic. Basically, like, that was my hot take. I was like, how dare he? He's mean to Bobby. So then I wanted to give credit to Beck, because Beck came on and had a really cool conversation with me on Instagram And I'd love to share what they said, but I asked for permission and I haven't gotten it yet in time for recording. So, all I'm going to say to like summarize what I know is fine to say is that they basically made some really sick points about men's mental health. And they were talking about some of the stuff that you had said about how you had brought it down to men's mental health and how that's so important and how it's really good to see. We always are talking about like emotional representation, like men being emotional. And that was specifically your point. And Beck said that they thought that like that was very valid, but also it's so good to see them breaking down sometimes as well. Because if you're only like representing perfection all the time, that's just not realistic and it's not achievable either. So they were making these really solid points about how like if we are going to have positive representation of men's mental health, then it's actually brilliant that they give us these episodes where you see people messing up and that it's like they added a layer of sympathy to my lens over Dean as well, which I think has happened the more that I've talked to people, because you know how we always say, if you disagree with it, that is totally fine and we would love to hear what you think. So many people wrote in and I was like, actually, yeah, I'm like, I feel like people talked me down. Like I was on this ledge of absolute rage and I feel like people just really gently talked me down and were like, oh, but also this and this and this. And Beck was saying that basically what Dean is doing is like, he's in such a space of deep depression and so emotionally broken that when he says what he says to Bobby, Beck's theory is that Dean is trying to make Bobby be fine if he's not there anymore. It's like it's flawed logic, but it's like deep depression logic.
Yeah,
and it
make
makes
people hate you so that it's easier when you're like if you then do whatever
are not there anymore.
Yeah,
exactly. And I was like, that's such a deep and thoughtful and meaningful point. So I really wanted to include what Beck was kind of getting at. So then in the mailbag proper, I had a really cool conversation also with the lady who is 3SA Photography on Instagram. She is so unbelievably talented. And if you guys have not looked at her convention photos and her photos of Jensen and everyone else, like you should really go and look, because honestly, she has gorgeous things on her page. So her name is Theresa, and she wrote and she said, and I loved her point so much. I was just like, please, can I include this in the podcast? Because this is so well written. Thank you so much. And she said, yes. So she writes, I'm going to defend my man. I don't disagree with everything you said, but I wasn't mad, like all caps, said Dean, like I was, because I was raging.
Yeah, you were.
I hold myself up to that. I was raging. She says, I don't think Dean was being a dick on purpose or to be hurtful. I do think he had given up and he was going to say yes, so Sam wouldn't have to. It was hurtful to say Bobby wasn't his father and to tell Sam that he didn't trust him and Lucifer was going to wear him to the prom. Dean was putting all the responsibility on his own shoulders, as he often does, and I feel he said things he didn't mean, or at least didn't say to specifically hurt others. He was trying to get them to let him do it his way, because he had no idea what another way was. After he was able to kill the horror of Babylon in last episode, it was obvious he was a servant of God and felt he had to do this. Remember, he was being manipulated by the angels. I love that Sam was able to change his mind. Fucking angels. The things we say on this podcast, Jesus.
We love death and the angels are horrible.
Fuck the angels. Yeah. Supernatural podcasts out of context are wild. Sorry, I'm ruining her point. So she says, I love that Sam was able to change his mind. I love that he killed Zachariah. He tried to save Adam. This was a turning point for Dean to realize that he couldn't do it alone and he couldn't control Sam. I'm not a Destiel shipper, which is valid, so I won't get into any of that. Cass was the super badass in this episode, though, which I agree with.
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I thought that was so well written and so well put, so I had to include it. Mm-hmm. Yay. Okay. And now it's time for the mailbag. because I said, hey guys, what do you think of this episode? Tell me all of your thoughts. And people wrote in. So, chow.willow, which is a fun name, says, second best introduction on the show, in parentheses, Castiel wins. Well worth the wait.
The barn scene. Yeah.
The barn scene when Cass comes in.
That is pretty epic.
That's such an awesome intro. And honestly, like, I do not know which intro is better. Like, I kind of feel like they're on par.
I think
it's really hard. Like,
Cass's one was just so epic because of the wings, like visually. Yeah. But then this was visually good as well.
This was also visually epic and also musically epic at the same time.
Yeah,
it's so hard. This is like one of the biggest conundrums in the fandom, I think. I've seen people post over and over again, like, which one is better, Cass or Death?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna, at the moment, I feel like maybe Cass slightly has it, but they're both like pretty. God, I don't want to choose. I take it back. I'm not choosing.
I don't want to choose either. I don't know how I could even choose. Like, if both scenes were falling off a cliff, I don't know which one I would save. Laura basically just did a spit take on herself.
That was funny how you said that.
I didn't know how else to put it. So Monster Exams said Death was the only character that Dean was scared of. And it's like, yeah, period. Like, I honestly can't think of, like, there are times when he's afraid of the situation or he's afraid for Sam.
Yeah.
But I really think this is the only time that we see Dean actually shaking in his boots over anything. And again, Julian's amazing because he makes us believe that he is this infinite being of ultimate power.
Yeah.
My brain
because when Dean's like
cosmic power,
he's like, why am I still here? Like, he's expecting to be killed every seconds. Yeah.
He's like, I'm a gnat to you. Why haven't you stepped on me? No, it's amazing. It's such a good point. And like, I always viscerally remember this scene. And that's really, for me, Monster Exams just explained to me why it is that I remember. It is because it's the only time you really ever see Dean like actually afraid of something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even when he's about to be crushed by something wildly powerful or fighting gods, he's like, yeah, up yours. He's trading insults.
Yeah, he wasn't like sassy at him.
He wasn't sassy or anything. He was like,
yeah.
Are you gonna kill me now? He is like nervous laughter, legitimately.
Yeah.
He's terrified. I think that's fantastic. I think that was a great writing choice. I think it was a great acting choice. Like, everything was perfect.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
So Mary BB19 wrote, Death's introduction is the best in the entire series, hands down number one. And honestly, like, it's amazing. It's just, even now, I look at the scene and I have goosebumps. I think about the scene, I have goosebumps. It is so flawless. So Jenny from Spirits and Supernatural wrote in and said, one of the very few times Dean showed legit fear, no entrance better. And then she says, dying on that hill in parentheses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to have the same like opinion about Death, which is cool.
I think it's because it's such an iconic episode. And there's so many amazing things in here, but when you ask, like, after you've seen the whole episode, there are fucking sick moments, hilarious moments, things that you'll quote till the ends of the earth. But the thing that will always be at the front of your mind, I feel like, is that he opens the door, you see the ring, and then in the background you hear, oh, Death. Oh, Death. You know, it's just, there's nothing like it. SP and Swifty makes a joke about Death getting like the 5-letter pizza thing. It's like a Threads reference kind of a thing, and I thought that was so cute and so funny. And then Helody65, our girl Helen, says, mesmerizing introduction. Love this episode. Can't wait to listen. Look forward to Laura's reaction.
Ah.
Me too. I have literally been waiting for Laura's reaction for like years. I'm finally getting it. Okay.
I feel under a lot of pressure now, and for the next episode.
Yeah, you're under a huge amount of pressure. Enjoy. This is what you get for sending me forbidden bugs constantly. So Theresa also wrote in and said that she was at a convention where Lisa Berry, who you don't know yet, and Julian Richings were both at, which was the Columbus Convention in June of 2024. And they did a panel together and they recreated Death's entrance with Lisa singing "Oh Death" a cappella, and she says talk about goosebumps.
Wow. That was recent as well.
Yeah, that was honestly so recent. And like, I don't, for anybody who hasn't heard Lisa Berry sing, if somehow that has escaped, she's incredible. She is a phenomenal vocalist. So I have to go digging around on YouTube and see if I can find a clip because wow.
Yeah, if you find one, we can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I'll definitely I'll have a look. So 3SA Photography says, hot take, in my opinion, Death's entrance is the best character intro. Cast is a close second. And then J2SPN fan says, throughout 15 seasons, this was the most hypnotizing entrance of any character.
Hypnotizing, I like that, yeah.
Hypnotizing is a great word for it. And then Nadine says, this is the best character introduction of all time in all of film history, with like 6 exclamation points, and I agree.
Yeah, it's so good. And it's just the song, it's the acting, it's the slow motion does something. I don't think it would have quite the same effect if it wasn't in slow motion.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Everything comes together absolutely perfectly.
Yeah.
So the good news is Laura is obsessed with it, as I was. Like, can you guys imagine if she came back and she was like, it wasn't even that good, Joy? What are you talking about?
Oh no.
I'd be like, that's it, the podcast is over.
If I had a pudding reaction, yeah.
Yeah. She went, actually, no, I didn't think it was that great. I would just be like, get out.
No, I loved him. I thought he was amazing.
Yeah, he's awesome. I'm so happy.
Well, like I say, like Supernatural are really leaning into the whole British villain thing, aren't they?
I am so happy about that because honestly, like otherwise I would be deprived of Crowley. I would be deprived of Death. Although I feel like he played his accent down a little bit because I believe he's like a little. I don't know how it works. He's kind of Canadian, kind of British.
Okay.
He was born in Oxford, and I believe he has English family, but I think he's lived a certain chunk of his life in Canada.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know, but I think he still comes across as a bit British.
Yeah, he did sound. He sounded it to me.
You would be the authority on this, not me. We'll just ask the actual British person in the room. Would you like to do the synopsis?
Yes. So this is season 5, episode 21, 2 minutes to midnight. The original air date for this episode was May 6, 2010. Sam and Dean defeat the third horseman, Pestilence, to gain his ring, and Bobby sells his soul to Crowley so he will then help them find the final horseman, Death. Crowley tells Sam and Dean that the virus the demons have been making for the swine flu epidemic Pestilence started is being shipped out worldwide and that it contains the Croatoan virus. Sam, Bobby and Cass work together to stop the virus being distributed, while Dean and Crowley go to find Death. They find him in Chicago, and he tells Dean that he also wants Lucifer to be stopped. He offers his ring to Dean on the promise that he will make sure Lucifer is trapped at whatever cost, meaning he has to let Sam go through his plan to be possessed by Lucifer and force him to jump back into the cage so they can then trap him again.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. My first note is about the teaser, and I said, oh, are we going to find out what happened to Adam and Cass? I keep forgetting Cass has disappeared. Poor Cass.
I was really excited because I could not remember what happened with them, and I had forgotten how much fun Cass is in this episode.
Yeah.
Like Cass and Crowley.
I was going to say, all of them
are unbelievably funny and entertaining.
Yeah, it's like Bobby, Cass, and Crowley, and then Sam and Dean.
Yeah, like my hat is off to Sarah because this episode is just such pure gold. Like if they gave out Oscars for episodes, this would get that.
Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. Maybe even my favorite of this season so far.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely one of my favorite episodes, full stop.
Yeah. So our opening scene, we see a woman called Celeste in a hospital bed, and she asks her doctor how his trip was as he enters the room. We then see that the doctor is Pestilence, although in this episode he's called Dr. Green. He calls her his favourite patient and asks how she is. She says that she keeps feeling worse and worse. And Dr. Green says, well, that's because you're suffering from a combination of the common cold, dengue fever, and a nasty, nasty case of Japanese encephalitis. And she's like, what? And he then waves a hand over her face and tells her that she also now has chickenpox. And this is going to be fascinating. She asks how she can have all of these diseases at once. And he says he blended them all together and put them in a petri dish. Her. Celeste asks if he's going to cure her. And he says, no, you're going to die in 4, 3, 2, and then we hear Celeste being sick, and Dr. Green is covered in some bright green vomit, and she dies. And I wrote, that was some pea soup exorcist throw up.
It was really gross. Like
it was
like
gross.
It was like an explosion, honestly. I thought she kind of blew up. It was just disgusting.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, did you get the reference, the hidden little reference in this
Probably
one
not.
to the lore? Okay. His name is Dr. Green, Laura. What color do we now know Pestilence to be referenced as in the Bible?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, the green horse. He's Dr. Green.
Yeah, because didn't we say somewhere that it's like they got it muddled up because Pestilence is supposed to be white and Death is supposed to be pale green.
Yeah.
But then they swapped it.
But they swapped. Yeah. So people always associate Pestilence with green now.
Yeah, I totally missed that.
That's why he's like, I'm Dr. Green. He's actually this actor, Matt. Is it Frewer? I think it's Frewer. I think that's how you say it. Listen, I tried. Okay, I tried. When he's acting really nice, when he's pretending to be Dr. Green at the beginning of the episode, I didn't even recognize him as Pestilence. He is really different, and I was like, oh, I think I know this guy from other things. I looked it up, and I'm pretty sure it's that I must have watched a show that he was in when I was little, and so he's like imprinted in my mind. But I don't think that I know him from much more than that recently. But he's so phenomenal. Like,
yeah,
he turns on such a dime. He's really capable of making things so funny. Like, there are some scenes later on where he's genuinely hilarious while also like, and then he flips and then he's screaming and scary.
Yeah, he's scary. Yeah.
They really did an incredible job of casting the horsemen.
Yeah.
They're all truly phenomenal. Like, obviously Julian is my favorite.
Yeah.
We could play a drinking game with every time I say Julian is my favorite. Julian is so talented, but then everybody will probably die of alcohol poisoning, so I don't recommend that you do that. But I'm probably going to repeat myself a lot on that because I feel very strongly about it. But yeah, this actor is also really brilliant. And Davenport, Iowa, where this is set, has experienced so many diseases. Okay, so many. I looked it up and I was like, why did they set it here? There's probably a reason. Let's look at the location. So Google tells me because everything was behind a paywall. Okay, so take this with a grain of salt. The only thing that I could do was like a little Google search. It says Davenport, Iowa has experienced several notable historic disease outbreaks, most prominently including the cholera epidemics of the mid-19th century and the 1918 Spanish flu. These events significantly shaped the city's public health infrastructure and development. The cholera epidemic's outbreak was centered around steamboat traffic, which surged along the Mississippi River. Davenport became this vital transportation hub, and the rapid transit inadvertently introduced Asiatic cholera into the area. The city was hit particularly hard between 1849 and the early 1850s. The outbreaks caused significant panic and high mortality rates, which exposed the desperate need for improved sanitation and actual medical care in the riverfront settlement as it grew. Then there was smallpox in the 1860s and 1890s, which was during the Civil War era. Davenport was designated by Governor Samuel J. Kirkwood as Iowa's first military headquarters, and the establishment of multiple Union training camps caused severe overcrowding, creating fertile ground to spread the smallpox. Sporadic outbreaks continued to plague the area for decades. By the 1890s, recurring threats led to stricter isolation protocols and the eventual establishment of a city-sanctioned quarantine facility. The Spanish flu obviously was a global pandemic. It swept rapidly through the Midwest, exacerbated by the troop movements during World War I. The impact on Davenport, like the rest of the Quad Cities, was just sweeping emergency measures. They did their best. They shut everything down, but the virus was really, really contagious and really difficult to control. And then they also were hit with COVID, like everywhere else, and of course, swine flu. So there really is a history in Davenport of there being, because it is a port city. I think any busy port city is always going to be the most hit by communicable diseases like this, especially if you're a new city and you haven't established proper medical procedures yet. So they were just they never really had much of a chance, and it makes it especially appropriate to have this thing. And a lot of the diseases that he mentions are diseases that hit this specific city. So I was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Little location law. That's cool.
Yeah.
So then we got to one day earlier. Sam and Dean are arguing in Bobby's kitchen about Sam's plan to say yes to the devil. Dean asks Bobby if he knew about this, and Bobby nods, and Dean shouts, well, thanks for the heads up. Dean tells Sam he can't do it, and then his phone rings and he answers it, and it's Cass. Dean says they thought he was dead and asks where he is, and Cass says he's in hospital. And Dean says, are you okay? And Cass says, no. And then there's a beat, and Dean says, do you want to elaborate? And his reactions to Cass during this whole phone call are just hilarious.
Yeah, they are amazing. Cass says, I just woke up here. The doctors were fairly surprised. They thought I was brain dead. And Dean's like, so a hospital? And Cass is like, apparently, after Van Nuys, I suddenly appeared bloody and unconscious on a shrimping boat off Delacroix. I'm told it upset the sailors.
Upset the sailors.
Dean says, oh, well, I gotta tell you, man, you're just in time. We figured out a way to pop Satan's box. And Cass says, how? And Dean says, it's a long story, but look, we're gonna go after Pestilence now. So if you want to zap over here. And Cass is like, I can't zap anywhere. And Dean says, what do you mean? And Cass says, you could say my batteries are drained. And Dean says, what do you mean? You're out of angel mojo? And Cass says, I'm saying that I am thirsty and my head aches. I have a bug bite that itches no matter how much I scratch it. I'm saying that I'm just incredibly Indigo's human. And then his reaction cracked me up because he says, wow, sorry.
Sirene's hilarious.
It's so funny. Cass says, well, my point is I can't go anywhere without money for an airplane ride and food and more pain medication, ideally. And Dean's like, all right, well, look, no worries. Bobby's here. He'll wire you the cash. And Castiel's like, Dean, wait. And Bobby's like, I will.
Love Bobby.
And then Cass says, you said no to Michael. I owe you an apology. And Dean's like, Cass, it's okay. And Cass says, you are not the burnt and broken shell of a man that I believed you to be. And Dean says, thank you. I appreciate that. And Cass says, you're welcome. Dead serious.
It's so funny.
It's the funniest thing that I've ever seen in my entire
You're not
life.
The burnt and broken shell of a man I believed you to be.
It's so funny. Also, there is a cute little Easter egg buried in that conversation. So when he talks about being discovered off of Delacroix, sorry. My French teacher was like, quoi, in the back of my head.
Yeah.
It turns out that has a link to the end of the world, and that there is a part of it actually called the end of the world. And if we look into the weather events and stuff, like the disaster stuff that Bobby is looking at, all the papers that are spread out, that could really mirror a lot of the things that happened to Delacroix. So in 1915, the New Orleans hurricane left so many people dead and destroyed basically everything in the community. 2 years later, over 1,000 people, mostly Islenos, perished in the Spanish flu epidemic and were buried in a mass burial site in the St. Bernard Catholic Cemetery. The Great Mississippi Flood of 1927 and the dynamiting of the Mississippi River levee at Caernarvon, that was a hard word to say, left the community completely flooded. And then later on, there is a Louisiana highway that gets built called Louisiana Highway 300, and it was locally known as El Fin del Mundo, the end of the world.
Ah.
Yep. So there's loads of signposts and different things showing that it's the end of the world. And there's actually an annual cycling event known as the Tour de Paris that takes off from Los Aslinos Museum in the historic village in St. Bernard and ends at the end of the world in Delacroix. So yeah, it's really, really interesting and really cool. Now there is also a ghost story and a tale of a curse that goes along with that.
Oh.
Do you want me to read it or not for time?
Yeah, I want to go through.
Okay. Now this one is really interesting because I had actually heard of Delacroix before because Nick and I love all things spooky, and we had watched a documentary about Delacroix and also this town called Frenier. Okay, and there is such a spooky story, and people still now, at least the people speaking to the documentary crew, really, really believe this, and they go into more information in the documentary than they do in this article. But this article does a good job of it, so I'm going to tell you the spooky story now. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Get snacks, get drinks, guys, get blankets, light a candle. In the small town of Frenier, an old legend tells of a woman named Julia Brown, a healer and midwife who lived at the edge of the swamp in the late 1800s. I'm also going to say no disrespect to Julia Brown, okay? Because from everything that I know, she was truly like a medicine woman. She was like a real healer and a real potentially witch or practitioner. So I'm taking her side. So she's a healer and a midwife who lived on the edge of the swamp in the late 1800s. As the story goes, she was kind to her neighbors until she wasn't. Feeling unappreciated, Julia supposedly began warning the townsfolk that when she died, she would take the whole town with her. Now, like, an aside from me is that could be interpreted one of two ways, because apparently, from what I remember from the documentary, it's that she was a lovely woman, but there were rumors that because she was alone, because she was super smart, because she was delivering medicine, that maybe she was a witch.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Do you see where I'm going with this? So she literally could have said she'd take the whole town with her in a fit of like anger when someone was horrible to her, meaning that if she's the medical provider and she dies, then when she's gone, there's nobody else to take over. Mm-hmm. So like that could just be a casual aside, or it could be a curse. Now, there are definite stories from the locals where they believe that it turned into a curse, and it gets super spooky in the documentary.
Yeah.
But also no one will say anything bad about her. They're like, if it did turn into a curse, it was really not her fault. It was our fault because we shouldn't have been rude to her.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's nice to see one where the quote unquote witch is not blamed. So
I'm just actually lighting a candle, by the way. I feel like I'm going to need it.
Respect.
Because you always haunt me.
I do. I'm a ghost magnet.
I'm using my salt candle holder.
That's wise. So, after she says she would take the town with her, when she passed away in 1915, a hurricane struck the exact same day, wiping Frenier off the map.
That sounds like it was her, and I don't blame you.
Some claim her spirit still lingers in the swamp, humming the songs she used to sing on her porch. Ooh. Fishermen and boaters have reported hearing faint melodies drifting over the water near Lake Pontchartrain? Lake Pontchartrain, especially on stormy nights. Whether it's the wind, so atmospheric. Whether it's the wind or something else, no one can say for sure. But most folks agree it's best not to linger too long where the old town once stood.
Ooh, yeah, that's spooky.
It's so spooky,
but good because it's like the music and then like weather, so people can just be scared of the weather when they're there.
Yeah, exactly.
If it gets windy, you're like, oh, is it the ghost?
Yeah, and you just hear a woman singing in the swamp.
Yeah, I think that sounds actually quite nice.
I love it. I think we should go.
Put on the road trip.
We will add it to the road trip. That was actually, in fact, from a tourism board, I believe.
I love it when tourism boards like lean into the haunted side of things. They don't try and like pretend it doesn't exist.
Exactly. It's so good. So if you guys want to read more, it's called Louisiana Swamp Ghost Stories, Haunted Bayou Legends, and I will have the link in my show notes. But yeah, I love that story. I love it. I love it. It's spooky. I'd be very happy to go there. I've always wanted to go to Louisiana. Haunted place. Witchy women humming in the swamp, sudden storms. I'm so down.
Yeah. Me too. So Sam and Dean drive to the Serenity Valley Convalescent Home, which is where Pestilence was at the beginning of the episode with Celeste. Yeah. They're staking it out. Dean calls it Dollywood for Pestilence. What does he actually say?
Oh, it says it's like a four-color brochure for dying young. Of course, to Pestilence, it's probably Dollywood in there.
Yeah, I liked that line. Yeah. Sam points out that there's a whole building full of people and they don't know who is human, who is a demon, and who's Pestilence, and asks Dean what they do. And then Dean notices security cameras and looks like he has an idea. We then see them on the security cameras enter the building, and Dean goes into the security guard's room and punches him in the face to knock him out.
He does not love a man in uniform.
Sam and Dean then watch the cameras, and we know that some time has gone by. Dean has fallen asleep. Sam wakes him and asks what they're even looking for. And I wrote, shouldn't they have had that conversation when they first started watching the videos?
But also, it's the way that Dean nods off twice in like half a second. So funny to me. Yeah. Sam is like, for crying out loud, would you wake up?
Yeah.
It's all in the face.
Dean says that Pestilence probably looks sick, and Sam's like, everybody looks sick. I was like, that's not helpful, Dean.
Dean logic. What are you going to do?
Dean logic. Some more time passes, and then Sam spots Dr. Green / Pestilence on the camera leaving a patient's room, and he's the only person who is kind of like static on the camera. Or there's like a
it's
glare.
Like really creepy. There's like a really creepy band of static just over his face and these blips, and I thought it was so spooky and weird, and I loved it. And did they do something sort of similar in Poltergeist? I can't really remember. It's been a long time, but I feel like there is something like that maybe. But anyway, it was actually really freaky. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I didn't actually notice it until the second time I watched it. I thought they'd just seen a man like in a suit who kind of looked different, and then I realised what was going on. Because I was really watching it.
Like when I got in trouble because she didn't realise that the demon blood was a thing yet.
Well, the first time I was just watching it, and the second time I was watching it to write my notes, so I was properly watching it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, fair, yeah.
So they track him like through all the feeds, all the cameras, and the same static thing happens on all the cameras. And Dean says, "Oh, now we're talking." And then we see Dr. Green go into Celeste's room, and that whole scene from the start begins to play out again.
Yep. So then, basically, we have the demon nurse who we see. She's another really sweet-faced actress, isn't she? Mm-hmm. She's really spooky in this scene, and he's also really spooky in this scene. They have kind of an exchange. So after Celeste dies, the demon nurse comes in and tells him that the Winchesters are there and that they should go because she's smart, okay, and she does not want to die.
Them, like, go past her room, hasn't she?
At this point, what I think is cool is we now know, you know, in the other episode where Sam and Dean are like, they don't know that we're the thing that they should be afraid of.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love that. And then this follows on from that, like really directly, and is like, the Winchesters are here. We should run.
Yeah.
And that is so cool when you actually stop and think about it. They are actually the boogeymen of demons. They are what demons are scared of.
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. And so basically then Pestilence is like, are you kidding me? And she's like, well, they have a track record with horsemen. And Dr. Green calls the other horsemen his brothers. And then he absolutely flips out and says that he's going to take it out of their, quote, healthy young asses, end quote. And the demon nurse points out that they're under strict orders to not kill the vessels. And then he screams, if Satan wants them so bad, he can glue them back together.
He was scary when he's shouting.
He's terrifying. And then we cut outside, and there's this like doctor who does not give a fuck and should not be a doctor, and he's like, page me if she's dying. He's horrible. And then he starts dying on the floor, and we're like, yes, die harder. So then Sam and Dean suddenly come around the corner, and they find the bodies, and then Sam starts coughing up blood, and he's like, oh, we must be getting close. And Dean's like, you think? And then he starts falling to the floor, and Sam's like, Dean, and he tries to help him, but he can't do it. And he's like, get up. And then the demon nurse opens the door. There's a really cool camera kind of sweep around. She opens the door and says, the doctor will see you now. And it's all menacing. And then Pestilence is like, Sam, Dean, come right in. And Sam's literally trying to go forward to kill people and just falls. And he's so mad about it.
It was funny. I'd written in my notes. So I was like, Pestilence is like, hey guys. And then Sam and Dean both collapse. And Jared's slapstick fall into the doorway was really funny.
Yeah, it's amazing. And then he says, ooh, you boys don't look well. It might be the scarlet fever or the meningitis. Oh, or the syphilis. That's no fun. And then he looks directly at Sam when he says that. And I wrote, honestly, the herpexia reference will not die. Sam's face made me laugh so hard because he's just like, he's so done. And then I was like, why is this not about Dean? Like, Dean just drops with this expression of impotent rage. Like, he does react to it as well, but it's really clear that Pestilence is looking at Sam when he says syphilis. And I was like, oh no, poor sweet baby angel Sam is still trapped in like changing channels with the herpexia commercial forever.
And the episode with the magician guy, because he gives him like gonorrhea.
Yeah, it's always Sam.
He keeps getting given diseases.
He really, really does.
So then Cass arrives. Yay.
Oh my god, I love this scene so much. This is such a thirst trap. This is like my thirst trap of the episode, Laura, and I was surprised. Turns out I love Cass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the door opens and Cass walks in. Oh, badass. And Dean, who's on the floor, is like, Cass. And Pestilence is like, how'd you get here? And Cass
he's
says,
really
I
worried
took a bus.
though, to start with, isn't he? He's like, oh crap, an angel. Like, he's really scared, but then he's like, oh, actually, you're right, because you haven't got any powers.
Yeah, which is honestly more for him. Cass delivers. This is one of my favorite Cass lines ever, the I took a bus. He's so casual. And then he's walking forward and he says, don't worry, and then he falls to the floor and he's coughing up blood. And Pestilence is like, well, look at that. An occupied vessel, but powerless. Oh, that's fascinating. There's not a speck of angel in you, is there? And Cass grabs the demon knife. Like, it takes him a minute. You think something terrible is going to happen. He's like coughing up, but he lunges. He grabs the demon knife and cuts Pestilence's finger off with the ring on it. And he's just like, oh. And he's recoiling and his fingers gushing blood. Like, it's really cool effects. I feel like Wednesday Addams in like the first Addams Family movie where they're like, more blood. Yeah, there's loads of blood. It's a really great effect. And Cass is just so badass because his reply is maybe just a speck.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's good.
Oh,
I had 2 points. One was a question, actually. Is Cass actually human now, or has he just like lost his angelness for a bit and he's like you said, his battery is depleted?
Yeah, I mean, if I answer that question, I feel like I'm breaking the law, aren't I?
Okay, so that's spoilers.
Yeah, I can't tell you that, Laura. Can I?
My point at the end of this was, I actually, and I understand why they did it, but I actually think that this like horseman death felt easier than all the others, and I feel like Pestilence was a bit shortchanged because all the others had like a whole episode, and he just had this little bit. We had a tiny little bit in one at the end of one episode, and then like this first 2 scenes or something. And I was like, he deserved to have, because he's a really good actor as well. He deserved to have his whole thing. But then obviously we want to get to see death, so
yeah. I think that I understand what you're saying. I think it's just that he's a really good actor. That he makes us. We would have been happy to see more. We would have been happy for that scene to play out a little longer. But I would not trade I took a bus and maybe just a speck for anything in the world. And it's also the thing that makes it so beautiful and so awesome is how quickly Cass kills him. arguably kills him, like disempowers him, fucks him up. Because we know that once the rings are taken, the other horsemen, when their fingers are cut off and their rings are forcefully taken, they just die. They're fucked. They're like skeletons on the floor. So he basically just went, whoop, you're dead. And he has no powers. That was just Cass being an absolute badass.
Just Cass and a knife.
Exactly. That is one of the best fight scenes that it's so brief, but it's so well choreographed. It's so believable. The gore is so realistic looking. I love this scene so much. I could talk about it all day, but I'm not. I'm going to move on. Okay. So we cut to Bobby's house, and Bobby's saying that it's nice to actually score a home run for once. And Sam and Dean look like they're leaning down, like
they're defeated. Yeah,
they look deflated, like they've actually melted to the desk. Is the attitude. And Bobby's like, "What is wrong with you?" And Dean's basically afraid that he's left some kind of a bomb somewhere, that there's some huge disease outbreak or something that's going to happen, and they don't know. So he's like, "Please tell me you have good news." And Bobby says, "Chicago's about to be wiped off the map. Storm of the millennium sets off a daisy chain of natural disasters. 3 million people are going to die." And Dean goes, "Huh." And Castiel says, "I don't understand your definition of good news."
That was so funny because as I was watching this, I wrote down, "That's the spirit, Bobby. They asked for good news." And then Cass said that. And I was like, "Oh, I'm Cass today." I don't understand your definition. That was good.
It's so funny. So, Bobby's basically saying that Death, the horseman, is going to be there. And that if they can stop him before he kickstarts the storm and get the ring back. And Dane at this point is done. And he's like, "Yeah, it's so easy." And Bobby's like, "Hell, I'm just trying to put a spin on it." And then Sam's like, "How'd you put all this together anyway?"
"Yeah, Bobby."
And suddenly Crowley appears. Bobby says, "I had, help." And Crowley just appears from nowhere over someone's shoulder and says, "Don't be so modest. I barely helped at all. Hello, boys." And we love a hello, boys. He says, "Pleasure, etc. Go ahead, tell him there's no shame in it." And Sam's like, "Bobby, tell us what?" And it's like the impression that you have is like your parents are going to get divorced or something and they're breaking news to you.
Yeah.
Bobby says, "World's going to end. Seems stupid to get all precious over one little soul." And Dave's like, "You sold your soul." And Crowley says, "Oh, more like pawned it. I fully intend to give it back." And Dean's like, "Well, then give it back." And Crowley says, "I will." And Dean's like, "Now." And Sam turns around and goes, "Did you kiss him?" And Dean goes, "Sam." And Sam goes, "Just wondering." And Bobby says, "No."
We were all wondering.
And then Crowley holds out his phone, which is a picture of him and Bobby kissing on it. And Bobby's like, "Why'd you take a picture?" And Crowley says, "Why'd you have to use tongue?"
Oh, it's so funny, the selfie. I found a fun fact that says that Mark Sheppard still has that picture of him kissing Jim Beaver on his phone, and he showed it to at a con in 2021.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. I have seen that somewhere on YouTube, I think. And then I also saw like some stuff on social media where Jim Beaver was posting some stuff. And then Mark Sheppard posted, I can't remember why he did it, but he posted the photo again. And Jim says something like, "Give it to me, Schleppard," or "I love you, Schleppard," or something like that. And it's honestly so funny.
It's funny.
They have banter about it. Like they actually, like it comes up sometimes and they have banter about it. I don't know. That. It's just so like nice. It's like
ongoing thing that they keep bringing up.
It's banter. It's like completely non-toxic masculinity that makes me feel like the world is good and pure and happy.
So then we find out that Crowley didn't actually need Bobby's soul to find death, which is what he kind of pointed out or said to Bobby. He's just using it as like collateral, isn't he?
Well, I mean, I feel like he's not going to give you something for nothing. So I feel like he probably used it to get the information, but that he's also not going to give it right back because he wants to live. And he does know that the Winchesters are really dangerous and he's not stupid. So he's like, I would like to survive because I'm looking out for number one. So Dean says, "You know what? I'm sick of this. Give him his soul back now." And Crowley says, "I'm sorry, I can't." And Dean's like, "Can't or want?" And Crowley says, "I want, all right? It's insurance." And Dean says, "What are you talking about?" And Crowley goes, "You kill demons. Gigantor over there has a temper issue about it, but you won't kill me as long as I have that soul in the deposit box. And Bobby's like, you son of a bitch. And Crowley says, I'll return it. After all this is over and I can walk safely away, do we understand each other? Oh, so he's such a great, like, anti-hero villain character.
Yeah, I really like him.
He's amazing. So, Sam and Dean are having a conversation outside, kind of like in the scrapyard area. And Sam's trying to convince Dean that he needs to do his plan, where he takes Lucifer on and then jumps into the pit. And he says, for the record, I agree with you about me. You think I'm too weak to take on Lucifer? Well, so do I. Believe me, I know exactly how screwed up I am. You, Bobby Cass, I'm the least of any of you. And my heart was like, oh. And
he's done a complete 180 though since last episode. We said he was like I think I said he can sometimes be a little bit arrogant, like he thinks he is like amazing and thinks he can do anything, but today he thinks he's weak. And that's not true though, because when Sam has demon blood, he's the strongest ever because he's like the Hulk, but they won't let him use his powers. And I'm always bitter about
still very pro demon blood, in case you hadn't picked up on that.
I don't want him to turn into a demon. I just think that they have
that demonic
they
V8.
have a really good weapon in Sam, and they're trying to save the world. It's the apocalypse. Like, you might as well just go for it. Anyway.
Yeah, see, again, so Laura is very pro Sam should just drink the blood and do
just
things
a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway. Dean says, "Oh, Sam," and Sam says, "No, it's true. It is. But I'm also all we got. If there's another way, but I don't think there is. There's just me. So I don't know what else to do except just try to do what's got to be done." And then Crowley from nowhere says, "And scene." There's something we need to see. And then he hands him a paper. And Sam reads from the newspaper. Niveus Pharmaceuticals rushing to deliver its new swine flu vaccine to stem the tide of unprecedented outbreak. Shipments leave Wednesday. And Crowley's like, Niveus Pharmaceuticals. Get it? You two are lucky you have your looks. Your demon lover Brady, VP of distribution, Niveus. Ah, yes. Is that the sound of the abacus clacking? Were you all caught up? So funny. Demon, you're Brady. I said that. I totally.
I didn't get any of that.
Your demon lover Brady took me out. It took me out, and one of our listeners commented on the page, like on one of our posts about Supernatural, that actually in this episode where Crowley says that Sam and Brady had a thing, that there's a kind of queer fan theory, I guess, that Sam and Brady actually had a fling before Brady introduced Sam to Jess, and because it was also brought up that Sam there's like a queer fan theory again, like an offshoot thing, that Sam and that guy who got murdered in the Whore of Babylon episode that we all really liked, I want to say his name was
Paul, yeah,
that they had a little fling. I love queer conspiracy theories because we're such an underground little like corner room kind of thing, and I just thought that was really interesting. I thought this line is hilarious. I have no opinions about any of these theories. I thought they were interesting.
Yeah, I just think it's funny when he's like, your demon lover.
Your demon lover cracked me up. It took me out. I like almost fell off of my chair.
Yeah. But so basically they've realized that Pestilence was spreading swine flu to get lots of people sick, but then the main plan was for the vaccine to go out worldwide, which they've put the Croatoan virus in to make even more people even sicker and all turn into zombies.
Yep. Exactly. And
cool.
Crowley says,
cool.
They don't get to be horsemen for nothing, so you boys better stock up on, well, everything. This time next Thursday, we'll all be living in Zombieland. And I thought that was such a funny, brilliant line. And then we get to the Chicago train station.
Yeah. And then Death's entrance.
The big entrance. So we see all the like gray skies, the train goes overhead, spooky leaves blow in the wind.
Yeah.
And then we get the camera shot of the caddy pulling up, and then you get the shot of his hand on his cane
really nice.
as he comes out. The car was really cool. He gets out of it, and then we get the slow motion walking. We see Death getting out of the car and walking down the sidewalk, and then this obnoxious man looks very Wall Street coded, honestly. He's like a white Wall Street bro on his phone, super rude, super self-involved, bumps into Death, and then has the nerve to say, watch where you're walking, pal, while still like literally the entire time
he's not
on his phone.
Where he's going.
No, this is Sarah killing the most annoying people in the world for us, because it's so satisfying, because like I've encountered this so many times where like someone runs into me and then blames me, and I'm like, fuck you. So Death casually brushes his shoulder, and this man suddenly becomes pale and like he can't breathe, and it's very dramatic, and the color really fades from him. Those like really cool special effects where everything's kind of slightly desaturated. Falls to his knees, and then we're pretty sure he's just like done. It was a literal brush with Death, which is a funny pun. And then we see people running to try to save him.
He deserved it.
He did deserve it.
So I found a fun fact about the song. So it's Jennifer Titus, who sang "Oh Death." She worked in the promotions department at Warner Brothers at the time, and the director Bill Schreiger felt that she sang it so well that they had her record it for the episode.
That's fantastic. That is so cool. I love that, because honestly, like her vocals are so amazing.
Yeah, they were good. So then we're back at Bobby's. Bobby and Cass have a chat. Cass complains that he feels useless now as his angel powers are gone. And Bobby, who we know has been struggling with being in his wheelchair, is less than sympathetic. Cass is like, all I have is this gun. What am I supposed to do with it? And Bobby's like, point it and shoot.
Yeah.
And Cass is like, what I used to be. And Bobby's like, are you really going to bitch to me? Quit pining for the varsity years and load the damn truck.
Yeah.
Dean then says bye to Sam and the others and good luck stopping the zombie apocalypse. And Sam's like, yeah, good luck killing Death. And I was like, why are they splitting up? This is never good.
Her mind was like, wee.
I was like, wait, what's happening? Why are they doing this again?
Like, danger.
What are they doing to me? Sam gives Dean the demon blade, but Crowley says he doesn't need it and gives Dean Death's literal scythe and explains it can kill anything, including Death.
Mm-hmm.
And then Crowley makes Bobby walk again. Yay.
Woo! Okay, so Crowley says, hello, King of the Crossroads. So shall we? Bobby, you just going to sit there? And Bobby says, no, I'm going to river dance. And Crowley says, I suppose if you want to impress the ladies. Bobby really wasted that Crossroads deal. Fact, you get more if you phrase it properly. I took the liberty of adding a teeny little sub-A clause on your behalf. What can I say? I'm an altruist. Just going to sit there?
Yeah, he's an altruist.
And Bobby finally gets what Crowley's getting at and gets up out of his wheelchair. And Bobby says, son of a bitch. And Crowley says, yes, I know. Completely worth your soul. I'm a hell of a guy.
It's so cute and wholesome. And I don't want to ruin it, but I was watching it and my literal mind was like, is this realistic though? Because he's been in a wheelchair for months and months. Surely he would need some physio or something before he could just stand
sorry,
up.
Laura. Have you not met magic?
Well, yeah. Then
some
I was
might call this supernatural.
It was just how my brain went, and I was like, I'm going to write this down because it's funny. But yeah, I know it's a better story this way, and it was obviously magic.
Yeah. The way your brain works. Oh, man. So Bobby says thanks, like completely wholeheartedly. Like he looks like he could hug Crowley.
That was
and Crowley
really
says,
sweet.
this is getting maudlin. Can we go? And I just like,
Crowley's like, ew,
so
Felix.
Cute. He's like, ew, no. But it's so cute. Like, he did not have to do this. He did not have to do this. But he was like, you know what? I'm just going to heal you because I can.
Yeah. That was a nice thing for him to do. After
it really was. Look at him being all good. So proud of him. Little king of the crossroads being all cutie pie.
That's going to be that. God, let's go.
I'm gonna tag Mark Shepard in it. So there's also another really funny scene where they're in the van.
Yeah.
And Cass is mulling over the plan. So, like, Sam's told Cass the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And Cass's reaction to this, Sam says, so go ahead, tell me it's the worst plan you've ever heard. And Cass says, of course, I am happy to say that if that's what you want to hear, but it's not what I think. And Sam's like, really? And Cass says, you and Dean have a habit of exceeding my expectations. And it's the way there's a pause before he says anything else. And his face is just so, it's just like, you're all such idiots. And it amazes me that you get as far as you have gotten. That is completely the energy. And it's so funny. I was literally falling off the sofa laughing. Like, I almost choked on a chip. I'm not mad about it. So thank you, Sarah. Thank you,
Wait,
Sarah.
you have to clarify for me. Do you mean an American chip or a British chip?
Sorry, American. A crisp for the British listeners.
I was
sharp
curious.
And pointy, and it was not fun.
Ouch.
It was worth it though, because this was so funny.
It was
almost
funny.
died, but it was so funny. It was worth it.
He believes in Sam, sort of.
He's no longer an abomination.
I don't know. It probably will be again tomorrow.
Yeah. So he says maybe you could resist Lucifer, but there are things that you need to know. And Sam's like what? And Cass says Michael has found another vessel. And Sam says what? And Castiel says, it's your brother Adam. You must have considered it. And Sam says we were trying not to. And then everyone looks super depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cass says, Sam, if you say yes to Lucifer and then fail, this fight will happen. And the collateral, it'll be immense. There's also the demon blood. There you go, Laura. You should be happy. And Sam says, what are you talking about? And Cass says, to take Lucifer in, it would be more than you've ever drunk. And Sam's like, but why? He literally says, but why? And Cass says, it strengthens the vessel, keeps it from exploding. And it's the way he delivers the line, exploding. That was also so fucking funny, guys. I laughed so hard. Like, at this point, my face hurt.
Yeah, maybe it isn't such a good idea after all that he has demon blood.
Oh, Laura, no, you can't get off that train now.
Oh, well, in fairness, I said a teeny bit.
But he's got to drink so much, Laura.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
He's got to drown himself in it.
This part of the episode.
Convenient. Cass says that he's drinking gallons, as in like Nick, the guy who's currently holding Lucifer. And Bobby's like, and how is that not the worst plan that you've ever heard?
Yeah, that was funny. They go to a warehouse where trucks are being loaded up with the vaccine. Bobby says that the first truck isn't leaving for another hour, so they have time to plant the C4, then pull the fire alarm. And Cass interrupts to say that one of the trucks is leaving. And Bobby's like, bulls! Okay, new plan. And then we see the truck pull up to the gate as the driver leans out the window to swipe his pass to exit. Cass grabs his arm and knocks him out with a gun. The driver then falls on the horn, alerting a demon in the warehouse that something is happening. He warns the others that it's the Winchesters and starts closing all of the shutters. Bobby and Sam break in and free some of the human workers who'd been held hostage. They then enter and see a group of Creditor and infected people attacking someone. They aim their guns at them, and then we get a blackout. And then there's obviously an ad break. The zombies then charge at them, and Sam and Bobby open fire, killing them all. They then hear a young woman shouting for help somewhere further in the warehouse. Sam wants to go and help, obviously, because he's a protector.
Sam. Yeah.
Yeah. Bobby tells him no, but Sam goes anyway and gives Bobby the demon.
I wrote that's a heroic thirst trap. I just need you to know.
Yes. Bobby tells him no, but Sam goes anyway and gives Bobby the demon knife, telling him to wait there. A demon then approaches Bobby from behind, but he turns and stabs him with the demon knife. So it's handy he had that.
Yeah.
And then we go back to
Bobby's fighting
Chicago.
skills are ace too, because we haven't really seen, like, we've seen him fight a little bit before he lost the ability to do that. Now that he has it back, like, he's like really kicking ass. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it is good. So then we cut to Chicago with Dean and Crowley, and they approach a, quote, big ugly building. Crowley tells Dean that death is in there. Dean asks how he knows, and Crowley says because he just knows. And also the block is swarming with Reapers, and then the camera like cuts behind them, and we transition from Dean's point of view to Crowley's and see lots of Reapers standing around the building. I liked that shot. That was good.
I also liked where he said, hey, let's stop for pizza.
Oh, yeah. Because then they go to the pizza place. I wonder if they'd gone for pizza, would they have found him earlier?
Yeah, probably.
Crowley says BRB and disappears. He then reappears behind Dean and says he's made a mistake because Death isn't there, and then Dean gets mad.
He's like, you want to cut the cute and get to the part where you tell me where he is? And Crowley says, sorry, I don't know. And Dean's like, whoa, wait a minute. You don't know? And Crowley says, signs pointed. I'm just as shocked as you. And Dean says, Bobby sold his soul for this. And Crowley says, relax. All deals are soul back or store credit. We'll catch Death in the next Doom City. And Dean's like, millions are going to die. And Crowley's like, yeah, that's true. So we should leave.
Better get out of here. We don't want to be one of them.
Yeah, he's like, see ya. Then we go back to the warehouse. And Sam is killing Croatoan infected. Huh?
He's being a hero.
He is being a hero. He rescues an employee and takes the employee over to Bobby, who's holding off the other Croatoan infected. And they're clearly trying to basically save the people who aren't infected from the crazy ass Croatoan virus having people, the demony people. It's really cool. It's really heroic. It's really well coordinated. And then we cut to the Impala, and Dean's like, what do I do? Call in a bomb threat? 1,000 bomb threats? I mean, how the hell am I supposed to get 3 million people out of Chicago in the next 10 minutes? Mm-hmm. And he turned around and realized he's talking to himself because Crowley's fucking gone. That seat is empty.
He keeps doing this.
And Dean goes, come on. And then we see Crowley talking to Dean from outside across the street in front of a pizzeria. And he's clearly saying, because I can sort of sometimes read lips, because I rely on it to know what people are saying to me.
Yeah, I could tell what you said as well.
Yeah, he's like, I said I found him. Death, he's in there, which we get again later. Because Dean is like, come on, I can't hear you. So just look at his mouth, dude. You can tell what he's saying from that. But anyway, Crowley suddenly appears beside him again and says that he found him. And Dean's like, are you coming or... And then Crowley's disappeared again. And he's like, not. And I love the way that both Cass and Crowley vanish in the middle of conversations with Dean. And then just leave him on red.
Yeah. Although I have to say, if I had that ability to just disappear, I'd probably use it quite a lot.
You would 100% do it all the time, to me in particular. I'd be like halfway through a sentence and I'd be like, fuck's sake, Laura. And you'd be like,
it's like, sorry, I didn't know what to say. I just went. Yeah, so then we got back to the warehouse and Sam has saved everyone. He tells Bobby it's all clear, but then he gets sideswiped by a zombie who pins him to the ground and starts strangling him. Bobby tries to shoot but is out of ammo, and then we see the zombie get shot and Cass walks in with his sawn off shotgun and says, actually, these things can be useful. And then Bobby says, can we commit our act of domestic terrorism already? Let's go.
Yeah.
So then we cut back to Chicago and we're in the restaurant, the pizza restaurant.
We are indeed.
This is the best scene in the whole
world
so far.
In the whole world. So Death is in the pizzeria, and as Dean walks up with the scythe in his hand, it gets red hot and falls out of his hand because he can't hold it anymore. Yeah. And Death doesn't turn around and just says, thanks for returning that. Join me, Dean. The pizza's delicious. Sit down. Took you long enough to find me. I've been wanting to talk to you. And Dean's like, I gotta say, I have mixed feelings about that. So is this the part where you kill me? And he is terrified. Terrified.
Yeah, he's scared. Like we said before, he's not being sassy. So he's actually genuinely scared.
Yep. Death says, you have an inflated sense of your importance. To a thing like me, a thing like you, well, think how you'd feel if a bacterium sat at your table and started to get snarky. This is one little planet in one tiny solar system in a galaxy that's barely out of its diapers. I'm old, Dean. Very old. So I invite you to contemplate how insignificant I find you. And then he gestures to this perfect deep pan pizza, and I am salivating at this point because
I really want to try a proper Chicago deep dish pizza.
It looks gorgeous. And you can see Dean being we will. You can see Dean being so conflicted about this because it's a pie. It's a pizza pie, okay? And we know he loves pie, and he really wants to eat it, but he's also scared that he's going to drop dead if he does. So it's like the most slow, hesitant eating that I've ever seen from him. And Death says, "Good, isn't it?" And then Dean says, "Well, I gotta ask, how old are you?" And Death says, "As old as God, maybe older. Neither of us can remember anymore. Life, death, chicken, egg. Regardless, at the end, I'll reap him too." And Dean says, "God? You'll reap God?" And Death says, "Oh yes, God will die too, Dean." For those of us who've seen all 15 seasons, fucking hell, Sarah Gamble. And that's all I can say. So, Dean says, "Well, this is way above my pay grade." And Death says, "Just a bit." Dean says, "So then why am I still breathing, sitting here with you? What do you want?" And Death says, "The leash around my neck, off. Lucifer has me bound to him. Some unseemly little spell. He has me where he wants when he wants. That's why I couldn't go to you. I had to wait for you to catch up. He made me his weapon. Hurricanes, floods, raising the dead. I'm more powerful than you can process, and I'm enslaved to a bratty child with a temper tantrum." And Dean says, "And you think I can unbind you?" And Death says, "There's your ridiculous bravado again. Of course you can't."
No, Dean, you can't do anything.
An abomination. "But you can help me take the bullets out of Lucifer's gun. I understand you want this." And then he holds up the ring. And Dean says, "Yeah." And Death says, "I'm inclined to give it to you." And Dean says, "To give it to me?" And Death says, "That's what I said." And Dean says, "But what about?" And Death says, "Chicago? I suppose it can stay. I like the pizza." And I was just like, that's so cool. Death says, "There are conditions." And Dean's like, "Okay, like," and Death says, "You have to do whatever it takes to put Lucifer in his cell." And Dean's like, "Of course." And Death says, "Whatever it takes." And Dean's like, "That's the plan." And Death says, "No plan, not yet. Your brother, he's the one that can stop Lucifer. The only one." And Dean says, "What you think?" And Death says, "I know. So I need a promise. You're going to let your brother jump right into that fiery pit." "Well, do I have your word?" And he's like, "Okay, yeah, yes." And Death says, "That had better be a yes, Dean. You know you can't cheat death."
Yeah, Dean.
Now, would you like the instruction manual?
This is so cool because, well, first of all, I think Dean, I know he doesn't actually mean it because he says that later, but he might as well let Sam do it because he's going to do it anyway. Like, Sam is going to do it.
I just can't get over the fact that you're like, Sam is the best. Sam is so heroic. I love Sam. And then you're like, Sam should drink the demon blood and also just die. He should just die.
Well, no, the plan is not for him to die. The plan is for him to be possessed and then overcome it somehow once he's jumped in.
Is it though?
I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. That's how I'm looking at it.
The plan is for him to say yes to Lucifer, trick Lucifer into him, then jump into hell.
But then that's
pretty much
probably
Good Night
thinks
Nurse.
That he can then get out again because everyone else has. Like John did, Dean did.
True.
And okay, he does, as we said, he does have a little bit of arrogance there. He probably does think he can. Anyway.
Okay, that's Laura's hot take of the episode, everyone.
I didn't think it was going to be a hot take. Okay. And I just love the whole thing with Death. So it's really interesting that he also wants Lucifer contained again. Like, even so much so that he will gives Dean his ring. So that he can do his
The thing about this Lucifer that is fun and makes him so entertaining is he actually is just throwing a tantrum.
Yeah. Which is what Gabriel said to him as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Everything that he's been doing has been because he's mad at his dad.
Yeah.
Literally every single shitty
for making humans.
Exactly. Because he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
You made us and we're awesome. And then you made these mud monkeys and they're stupid and they die and they're meaningless. But you want us to take care of them.
Yeah.
You want to pay more attention to them. He's just mad. He's literally just having a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
And the fact that Death's character is written the way that he is. And he's so matter of fact and kind of like distinguished gentleman.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe him. He's regal, right? He's really regal and reasonable and ancient and powerful. And so the dynamic when you weigh up Lucifer against Death is actually really interesting.
Yeah.
And kind of makes you think that they have a chance.
Yeah, it is. He's just like calm. But this scene is just so good. It's like, it's not just the writing, which is obviously amazing, or the acting. It's also the atmosphere, like the storm that's outside, like all the lightning flashes and stuff.
All the dead patrons.
Yeah. And even the ending of the scene. So when Death asks if he wants the instruction manual, and then we cut to outside the restaurant looking in, and Death is talking. So we know he's clearly telling Dean what he needs to do, but we don't get to know what it is yet. Like, that was just genius.
In the storm. That is genius.
I just thought that was amazing.
It is. It's awesome.
Oh, and I had a fun behind the scenes fact that I found.
Ooh, what is it?
So Julian Richings, who played Death later, complained jokingly in several interviews at conventions about the shooting of the pizza parlor scene because it had to be reshot numerous times, with both himself and Jensen having to eat more pizza with each retake. So they had to keep eating the pizza over and over and over again.
I mean, I could eat pizza forever.
Yeah,
unless it was bad pizza. That would be just super upsetting to me. But if it was like okay, decent pizza, I would do that. Even if it was just all right, like Goodfellas from the freezer pizza, I would still eat it.
So we're then back at Bobby's, and Dean is playing with all the horseman rings, and it's like he's putting them close to each other and they join up like they're magnetized or something. That's cool. Bobby comes over and Dean asks how it went. So Dean then tells Bobby that he lied to Death about letting Sam do his plan. And Bobby basically says that it might work and maybe they should let Sam try. See, Bobby agrees with me. I like when Bobby says that Sam is ass full of character defects, but he has a hell of a lot of good in him.
Yeah.
That's cute. And he also points out that Sam would beat the devil or die trying.
Yeah, I really like that, where he says he's got a hell of a lot of good in him too. And then Dean says, I know. And then the last line that we get in this episode before it cuts to black is, then you know Sam will beat the devil or die trying. That's the best we could ask for. So I got to ask Dean, what exactly are you afraid of? Losing or losing your brother?
Yeah. That was a powerful...
It was a very powerful
ending
closing line, cliffhanger to leave us on.
My last note is to say, I will not watch the next episode. I will not watch the next episode. I will not watch the next episode. And I haven't, everyone. I haven't.
I'm so proud of you.
So yeah, I don't know. Is there, what else have you got to say? We said quite a lot at the beginning, but
we did.
Closing thoughts.
Because we don't have things written in stone yet, but we're pretty sure we have everything down. I'm going to say we do have a special guest on Swan Song, but I'm still not going to tell you who it is. I'm just going to say we have a very special, fun, awesome guest on Swan Song. And you guys should be quite excited.
Yeah. Do you want to just do games then?
Yeah.
So, villain, hot or not?
I just wrote Pestilence, not hot.
I wrote Pestilence, no. Death, no, but there's something about him. And Crowley, not my type, again, but there's something about him because he's very charming.
Those are fair assessments, yeah.
And they're kind of not really bad guys, but whatever.
Well, that's why I didn't rate them. I felt like Pestilence was like the only real villain in the episode.
Yeah. Episode scare rating.
8. Wait, what did you give it?
I put 9 for what it's setting up.
Yeah. It's really high. It's like an 8 or a 9 easily. Because when Sam and Dean, as hilarious as it is when he makes a syphilis joke, but when Sam and Dean are like coughing up their lungs.
Yeah.
And can't even go near Pestilence without basically dying, you're like, oh my God, they're so fucked.
I was like,
and then
they're going to die again.
And then Cass starts dying too, and you're like, oh my God, everyone's going to die.
Yeah.
And you can't see a way out or a way through. And then Cass just comes through lastminute.com and gets shit done like a badass thirst trap. Honestly, I mean, also, I didn't really say this, but in my notes it says that dying Sam is a weird thirst trap for me. I don't know what it is. Jared's face is so sympathetic. He has lots of hair at this point. It just makes everything very dramatic when he's throwing himself around.
Oh, is it season 6 where he has like the really long hair that we pointed out before when we had that, that picture we had of all the different Sam haircuts?
Yeah.
Is it
I'm
6
pretty sure
where
from
it's
this
like
point his hair just gets longer and longer and longer.
Yeah. Favorite quotes? 1, 2, 3. Oh, I've only got 3.
I actually forgot to write that down. Well, I did write something down, but it's not really helpful. I just wrote all of them. Off the top of my head, it would be I took a bus. Then it's Pestilence making the joke about the syphilis because that's really funny and their faces are so funny. Crowley Crowley saying, "Why did you have to use tongue?"
Oh yeah, I had that one.
So funny. Honestly, all of Cass's lines. This whole episode.
My favorite Cass one was "You are not the burnt and broken shell of a man that I believed you to be."
I love that one. I love it so much. I also really loved when Sam was like, "Remember when we used to just hunt Wendigos? How simple things were?" And Dean's like, "Not really." And I love that line. That's so funny. And then, I love it when Crowley says just suddenly from nowhere, "Let's stop for pizza." That is so random and so funny. And then there's that whole exchange where Dean can't hear Crowley, and Crowley's popping in and out. That's also really, really, really funny. And I love it when Death says Chicago. I suppose it can stay. I like the pizza.
Yeah, that's good. I only had the other one I had was Bobby saying, "Look, I'm not saying Sam ain't asked for the character defects, but."
I also really like it when Cass says that he traumatized the trawlerman on the fishing boat. He's like, "I just appeared covered in blood." and then he says he's human to Dean, and Dean's like, "Oh, wow, sorry." And then Cass is like, "I really need money for everything." And then Dean's like, "Oh, that's okay. Bobby will send it to you." And Bobby in the background, I will.
Yeah, that was good.
Those are my favorites.
What was your best thirst trap?
Cass being like a speck. That was awesome.
Mine was Sam shooting all the Croatoan zombies and saving all the people.
That would be my number 2. Because Dean didn't really have that much to do in this episode aside from be scared or be dying. And he's adorable. Doing both of those things. Super, super adorable. But I can't really call them thirst traps.
No. MVP.
Crowley and Dean and Death, probably. I couldn't pick one. Because, you need Crowley to get to Death. Death gives him the rings, which you have to have. But then Dean being Dean and being super charming, I feel like Death is mildly charmed by Dean. Because here's this insignificant creature. He's like, "I'm going to trust you to save the world and get Lucifer off my back because he's a little bitch. Take my ring."
Yeah. Well, I said Death for giving them the final ring, or Sam for rescuing all the people.
That's the cutest, most Sam girl thing that you could have said, honestly. Or there's also Cass, because Cass gets the first ring.
Oh yeah,
Cass gets Pestilence, and Sam and Dean were dying on the floor. So
it's another team effort, I think.
Yeah, and Crowley gives Bobby all of his abilities back, his mobility.
It's everyone.
It's everyone. It's Team Free Will.
And then there wasn't a motel, but Bobby's house is amazing as always.
Bobby's house is a 10 out of 10. 5 stars. Where we would go there and we would live there if we could. And honestly, they need to make a Bobby's house attraction that we can go and live in. Like somebody needs to do a Bobby's Airbnb or something.
Oh, on the special features for the DVD of this season, it's like interactive and it's like a video game and you can go through Bobby's house.
Oh,
it's so cool. I don't know if you've got the same copy as me. I think you have.
Yeah,
but it's I haven't gone through all the special features yet. I thought I'd do that before the wrap-up episode. But you can click on all the bookcases and stuff on the desk. And I was like, this is cool.
So excited.
Yeah, and it's like a video game.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So that's the end of the episode. I'm really excited about the finale, obviously. I want to know how it all goes with Sam's plan and everything.
Yeah.
Does he manage to do it? Does he explode? Does he go to hell? So yeah, let us know in the comments what you think of Death, especially his epic entrance.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else to say, Joy?
No, that's it, really. Just look forward to Swan Song. We've got one of the most epic, amazing episodes coming up, and I can't wait for you guys to listen to it.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe. We would be very grateful. And if you know someone who would enjoy it, please share.
You can find us on Instagram at the Witches of Letters podcast, or you can email us at thewitchesofletters@gmail.com.
Until next time, stay safe out there, have each other's backs, and always keep fighting.